Well, it's turned into a little bit of like political fantasy football, watching Donald Trump's cabinet take shape, news day after day. And the latest is there has been an appointment as press secretary for Donald Trump, and somebody you know well, somebody we know well, Karoline Leavitt. She is scheduled to be the youngest press secretary in U.S. history at age 27. She was a part of the first Trump administration. She worked under Kayleigh McEnany. So 5 years ago, she was really young. I didn't remember this about Karoline. She ran for Congress in 2022, won her primary, lost the general election, and she does a great job.
She really does, and she's proved herself on the trail. By the way, she's also a young mom. You're hearing a lot of stories out there, New York Post, or New York Times, I'm sorry, saying that there's such a bro culture within the Trump administration picks. Karoline Leavitt, I mean, really new mom, beautiful young woman, and smart as a whip. Watch her debate here on CNN with Casey Hunt.
It takes someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has consistently frequently liked President Trump to Adolf Hitler.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop this interview if you continue to attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
Yes.
If you are here to speak on his behalf, I am willing to have this conversation.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Karoline, thank you very much for your time. You are welcome to come back at any point.
Yeah. Wait, the focus is on Karoline, and she conducted herself.
There you go.
She conducted herself incredibly well. And that podium, as I think our colleague Kayleigh McEnany did an incredible job at that. It takes, you know, you're going to have to go back and forth with a hostile press, and nothing has been, nothing has been made more clear in the past. We all know in the past couple of years, but I think to a heightened extent in the past couple of weeks and months, that it is a hostile press.
It absolutely is. And she is very calm, measured. I mean, I think about her, she made history 27 years old, but she's so, I don't know, she's so mature for her age. It's really an incredible thing to watch. I think she's going to be, I think she was the best pick. She was the person I thought should get it, and she got it. Meanwhile, another pick that's driving the left absolutely nuts is the pick of Tulsi Gabbard. And the attack that they're launching on her is, well, it's kind of the same attack they launched on Donald Trump in 2016. They're saying she's a Russian asset. Listen.
Yes, there's no question. I consider her someone who is likely a Russian asset, who would be as the DNI responsible for managing our entire intelligence community, hold all of our most significant intelligence information and secrets, and essentially would be a direct line to our enemies.
I meant to wear my rubber boots in today because it's getting deep. I mean, it really is. The bullcrap is getting deep. You're talking about someone there who has served her country in the House of Representatives and still serving in uniform. Someone who's taken an oath and has defended this country. But look at this cabinet. Look, the next one up is Pete Hegseth, and listen to how they talk about him.
This is someone who, is known to be a white supremacist, known to be an extremist, whose platform, whose book is basically about his opposition to the advancement of black officers to the top brass. And the military is actually a very important area for black advancement. And so him selecting that particular person, and by the way, the Department of Defense has 3 million employees. There's no evidence that this man has ever run anything. The fact that he is a veteran is simply insufficient.
I would just say that Hegseth would say that he would deny strenuously he's a white supremacist. He has, I just want to
so did Trump.
Put that in the record.
Yeah, first, can I just mention,
please.
She says, first of all, she says the purpose of the military is black advancement, which I'm like, really? I didn't know that was the purpose of the military. The purpose of the military is to defend our country. But put that aside. If Pete Hegseth was a white supremacist, I think we know. And I hope that he has the time, which I'm sure he doesn't, because he's preparing for his hearings and everything before the Senate. That woman deserves to be sued. That is defamation.
No doubt about it. Look, okay. My thing is, I got to be honest with you. I am not objective, okay? I am biased. This is one of the people who I feel like I know best in my life, who I will vouch for their character. That being said, we do know him best, as some people in this world.
She's never met him.
ridiculous opinion is based upon what she accuses him of being against DEI. So merit is now racist, is what she's suggesting.
Exactly.
And the fact that he has tattoos. Now, look, if he was ashamed or thought these tattoos were controversial, I would suggest to you he wouldn't take his shirt off and swim with 100 Navy SEALs on live television every year. He talks about his tattoos. He has a Jerusalem cross on his chest. He has a God wills it in Latin tattoo on his bicep. And this has been something that they're also pointing out, according to an Associated Press report. Pete's talked about this, so it's not news to a lot of people that already know this. He was kicked off National Guard duty for protecting Joe Biden's inauguration because an email came in, a complaint was lodged at the time, and now the Associated Press has the email where a fellow Guard member who was the unit security manager and on an anti-terrorism team at the time shared with the AP an email he sent the unit's leadership flagging a tattoo that read, Deus Vult, that's God wills it, that's been used by white supremacists concerned it was an indication of an insider threat. This is a saying, by the way, that goes back to 1096.
Yes.
I mean, I read the email. It's one man's internet rabbit hole theory, and this is what the AP ran with, what the Guard ran with. My point is, to your point, Joy, it's getting deep, and it's getting desperate, and it's attacking someone who we know very well. And I agree with you, Rachel. It's absolutely grounds for a suit for defamation.
Yeah.
Listen, to dial the page back, this is a cabinet that's going to be chock full of veterans. Not just veterans, but Iraq and Afghanistan war veterans. You got Mike Walls, you got Doug Collins, you have Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard. Of those four I just named, and I'm sure there's more, I'm just not seeing them all in my head right now, two of them are being attacked the worst, literally being called a traitor and a white supremacist. And, you know, there was a time where you couldn't even be president if you didn't have military service in your background. That's how much this country revered it. And now the Democrat Party would have you believe that serving in the military is some sort of indicator that you are, alt-right, far-right, that you hate the country because you hate the idea of DEI, which attacks the meritocracy of the military. The one thing I do know about Pete Hegseth is if he's confirmed as Secretary of Defense, he will not seek retribution with his National Guard unit or with that person. He'll treat everyone the exact same and give them all an opportunity to be the best fighting force our country's ever seen.
The two you're pointing out they're being attacked the most vigorously are two that represent a real threat to one of the biggest lobbies and biggest bureaucracies in Washington, D.C.
DNI, SecDef.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Northern Virginia is probably spending a lot of money to attack, Pete. I don't have any way to substantiate that, just intuition.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.